Welcome to Introduction to Music for Film and TV. My name is Craig Smith. I am a recording artist. I've had my music placed in dozens of movies, TV shows, a game, a little game. Just a little game. Anyway, a lot of people hit me up and ask me, how do you make music for film and TV? More specifically, how do I get my music into films and TV shows? So I felt like a good way to scale would be to go ahead and just record a class on it. I tried to do a webinar, didn't really work out. So I'm gonna just go ahead and record it and give it to whoever. So first, let's go over what sync placements are. Sync is a word that means synchronization, and it's basically whenever music is put to picture. Music put to picture is sync. And it's also called sync licensing, and the license is basically the approval that is given by the rights holder of a song to use the material in whatever is being produced. That is the license. So that is what sync is. What gets placed, what gets synced, it's any genre. I mean, like, watch TV. I think I'm gonna say that multiple times. Watch TV, watch movies, like any setting that plays music, pay attention to it, because it gives you a wider spectrum of what's possible with music for film and TV. In all types of scenarios, all genres. This is also a lane that will definitely separate people into two different categories. And those two categories are artist and library artist. If you're a writer that wants to express yourself and you just want to get your music out there because it's from the heart and because you want to be heard, you want everybody to hear your experience and your struggle, that is fantastic. But that is not what I do. So I'm going to teach you what I do, what I've done for the last few years, and how I've made a living by making music. And it's basically the difference between that, which I also do, and I also am an artist. But when it comes to making music for film and TV, you become basically a sync writer, a music for film and TV writer. A library artist, I don't know. And that's more like building many different songs, many different soundscapes, many different stories that can be implanted into a wide variety of productions. And the skill that you develop over time in this lane is that you can become that artist that can strike a chord in the heart over and over again. And what I've been able to do is develop this sense of connection with our human experience, so that when I am approaching a song, it doesn't take me very long to find inspiration, because I've already developed a channel, to bring that emotion out. What is it called? An aqueduct. I don't know why this is the aqueduct anyway. To bring those emotions to the forefront and describe them in the music and in the lyrics. So if you are looking to get your existing music in film and TV, I'm going to give you a few tips in order to do that here in a second. But what this is primarily focused on is creating a prolific artist in you that can unleash all of that creativity and give yourself many opportunities to have your music be selected instead of just the 5 songs that you create in 5 months. I want you to be able to create 5 songs in a week. Even if you don't like 3 of them, creating 20 songs a month is possible and is lucrative. So that's so another thing to note when we're talking about making music for film and TV is a lot of what music supervisors are looking for will be replacing other songs. So this is why you have to listen to what's being synced already. This is why listening to whatever is mainstream is important. Also, having a wealth of knowledge of what music sounded like in previous years. A lot of what's being recorded right now is golden era hip hop material. So having this versatility will help you. Ways to submit music. So there are 3 different ways that you can get your music placed in films and TV shows, like starting today. Number 1 is music libraries. Music libraries are possibly the more accessible way to get your music selected for films and TV shows. And you can literally Google music library directory and it'll give you a whole list. There are plenty of them where you can submit your music to these libraries and it'll be placed on there. But you have to make sure that this is a library that specializes in your genre. If you make pop music, you might not want to submit it to a hip hop exclusive catalog. If you make, you get it. And the second way is a sync agency. A sync agency, or just a sync agent, is a person that has developed relationships with music supervisors. That's all it is a person in between you and the music supervisor that you submit music to. In both of these scenarios, right, there are exclusive deals and non-exclusive deals. The exclusive deal is basically what it sounds like. It's the agent or the library saying, we will represent this song and we're the only people that can represent this song for a certain amount of time. And a non-exclusive deal is this basically opposite. You can submit your music to as many non-exclusive representatives as you can get into their hands, except for when you put that music into an exclusive contract or relationship with an agent or a library. Now, the third way, and honestly the hardest way to go about getting your music into films and TV shows. And before I go there, for the last few years, I've worked essentially with a sync agency as an exclusive writer for them. So I've amassed a lot of placements because my day job is working for a sync agency. And they have the direct, and I mean like next door direct connections to the music supervisors who are, working with the directors. So that is a better segue to say that music supervisors are the third way, and they're kind of like the final boss of getting your music into films and TV shows and video games. And it's difficult. It's not impossible, but it's difficult because they are inundated with so many people trying to pitch them music and inundated with so many projects that when it comes time to look for something, they're looking for a specific thing. They've already exhausted other opportunities by the time they get to a music library in a lot of cases. So it will be useful for you to start making friends with music supervisors, but I would say that you will probably have more success working with music supervisors that are outside of the Hollywood machine. And what I mean by that is you might want to start looking at music festivals film festivals, seeing what movies are presenting, who the directors are and who they typically work with. A lot of times those music supervisors that are working in that lane are more accessible than the people who are working on the top tier, the HBOs, the Marvels, all of that. So I would definitely go with that. And I don't know if we should touch on this right now, but when you are sending your material to a music supervisor, it is incumbent upon you to make it brief, make it clear. So you basically don't ever want to send an attachment. You want to send a link to your Dropbox or your Google Drive, and you want it to be pretty simple. Sounds like Rihanna, sounds like Rihanna, ownership 200%, and every song has 200% ownership. Sounds like this, 200% ownership. Maybe even throw in the BPM, and in the subject line put sounds like Rihanna for X project. Make it it's really idiot proof, really easy to decipher what's going on in your correspondence. So That leads me to the pay structure. When you actually do get your music selected to be in your favorite TV show or the new movie that's about to come out, you want to get paid for it. There are two ways that you get paid. One is a sync fee. The sync fee is the upfront money that the production pays to the artist or the label or the library or whomever is the publishing rights owner. You get a sync fee up front. Now these can go anywhere from $5,000 to six figures, depending on the marketability of the artist, the marketability of the song, and the budget for the project that's licensing the work, right? So it varies. And if you have an exclusive deal or even a non-exclusive deal with an agency or with a library, you might also be giving up a percentage of your sync fees. So that's something to keep in mind. I think agents might take less of a fee, of a percentage of the fee than a library would, but it's all up to you and all up to the scenario at hand. Consult an attorney. The second way you get paid in music for film and TV as a sync artist is through your back end royalties. So on the front end, there's a sync fee. On the back end, you get royalties from that. So the royalties are determined by the prevalence of a song in a scene. If the music is like how long it's used, a bunch of other math that I don't know how it works, and you probably won't either. But in order to get that back end royalty money, which pays out quarterly if you're with BMI, you have to register with a PRO, a performance rights organization. In the United States, that's ASCAP, BMI, CSAC. I'm with BMI, love them. So sorry. So when developing the music itself, let's talk about the music itself. Number one, let's start from the beginning of the song to the end of the song. Do not make your intro long. Oh baby, don't make your intro long. If you got like a like that even what I did is the limit. Like just make it a 2-bar intro, go right into the hook. And you go into the hook, you speak your piece on the hook, make the verse as clear and like things I've learned along the way. Rapping fast, not worth it. Being too intricate with the lyrics and trying to be a genius in your flows, not worth it. Again, we're painting the walls with these. We're not painting the Mona Lisa. So you can be simple. You can be direct. You can say the lines that just get the point across. It does you a lot of good to simplify your lyrical approach to all of this, especially when we're talking about hooks. We in the building. Yeah, we in the building. Hey, we in the building and we do it like that. Oh, we in the building. That song fucking done, right? Like that is perfect. I'm so sorry. And then the lyrics, I mean, like the lyrics can be as simple as we in the building. I'm doing my steez. They looking at me at the corner of their left. I don't know. I'm not a great freestyler, as you can see, but you get the point. So as the song progresses, you want the instrumental to take on a life of its own. Not that it switches up and changes and we'll get there in a second, but the first verse, let's say you started with drums and one other element like, piano. And it's just the lyrics. And then you go into the hook. The hook, maybe you bring in some open hi-hats. And we in the building. Yeah, we in the building. I'm having way too much fun. So then you go into the second verse, which leave it at 2 verses. You go into the second verse, and then maybe now you got like some fucking, I don't know, triangles. Ding, 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 and like maybe even some, I don't know, some like a larger clap or something. But like just build the beat as you go. So then when you make it to the third or the second hook, then you might bring in a crash. Psst, you know, like, and add in one other element so that it's a journey. And that way the editor has many different elements to choose from when you're delivering this song to them so that they can actually use it. Don't bother with a bridge. If you got a bridge in mind, make it a different song. It's really that simple. Like, if your bridge is gonna be like, oh, they love it when we all up in the place. Oh, we love, like, that's a whole nother song. Like, just make another beat that sounds similar to this one. Make that song. Then at the end of your song, when you feel like you've laced the track to perfection, add a sting. And a sting is basically psst. Whatever kick you used, whatever crash you used, whatever stab horn sound you used, at the end. Do not fade that joint out. You are not Jodeci. It don't matter. Like, how I'm sorry. Sting at the end. That way, when they're trying to transition scenes using your fantastic song you created, they can just now they're in a different scene. You have to put yourself in the mind of the editor. You have to put yourself in the mind of the director, of the music supervisor. You want everything to be clear for the audience, because what they're trying to convey in this scene is their scene, not your song. If you want to make a movie out of your song, make a music video. So that's song structure. Now okay. Now here's where Here's where we'll transition. Say that 5 times fast. Here's where we'll transition to a segment I would call What Would Craig Do? What would Craig do? So Craig would find opportunities to collaborate. I'm really big on abundance, especially when it comes to creative endeavors. For the longest time, especially in hip hop, it was seen as a dog eat dog sort of scenario, and the music industry has somewhat been like that and perpetuated this notion that only certain people can eat. But I assure you, everyone can eat. There are enough projects going around. There are enough people in the world. There is enough content that needs music, right? So what would Craig do? Find some people. Find some like-minded people who also want into this world, or who just can't stop creating and are always inspired. People that can push you out of your comfort zone of creativity so that you can try a different style. So that you can, if you're a producer especially, make music, but reach out to artists and explain to them what you're trying to do with sync. They might be on track to be somebody, amen. But that doesn't mean that they're not interested. Don't think that you're not gifted enough to work with people and make their success larger. We can all eat, collaborate, hit up people, and I would say dig deeper into what it means to share rights, right? Like off top, the producer gets a certain share of the production. I think it's 50% of the total 200%. And then, just go and Google splits, because that's where I become, it's none of my business, literally. So I would collaborate. I would reach out to people and see, because also that enhances the amount of work you're able to put out. This is a game of volume. If you can put out enough songs that, a wide enough spectrum of lyrics and emotions and sounds that people will sift through it on occasion and maybe pluck one of yours out. It's the same as like entering your name into a raffle multiple times. You want to give yourself as many chances as you can to get lucky, right? So do that shit. What would Craig do? Number 2, projects. I think that there's a tremendous opportunity to brand yourself in many different ways. I was just talking about making a bunch of things. You have the opportunity with the internet to rebrand yourself. People don't even have to see you. You can just come up with a fake name. I mean, this is what I've been doing for the last several years, is making music in different styles under different names, and then we can say this is the Lil Craig project, this is the I don't know, the 33 Savage project, whatever it is. And all of these have different musical styles and lyrical styles, and maybe even I put on an accent or whatever. Music for film and TV actually don't care if you're a real nigga or not. Like, I need to be okay. So what would Craig do? I would focus on creating a bunch of different opportunities for me to get lucky by doing projects. Making a dance EP, making a trap EP, making a love EP, like 5 to 7 songs on each one of these, and you just put them out and seek representation for each of these projects, because it's clear what it is. This all sounds like Miguel. All of this sounds like K Tronada. All of this sounds like Young Thug. Like, just, I would do projects. Now, this last one, chasing opportunities. What would Craig do? I would definitely start, if you're serious about getting into this world, you need to create a publishing company for yourself. You have to start collaborating with people. These are all opportunities. Looking through the list of productions, there are a ton of lists out there for who's looking for what, looking for some, oh, I'm not gonna do that. But they're looking for a certain feeling. They're looking for a certain type of song to go into their project. All of these are opportunities that, as you look for them, just pounce. Like, go for it. Who gonna tell you no? Who gonna tell you not to do it? Like, you don't know that you've got the chops for this until you actually put yourself out there. So I would begin to just be a dog, like, just hunt, fool. Like, what else do you have to lose? You're already wanting to create. And this is in whatever genre. I know I got people hitting me up that do instrumental music that's not hip hop. People hitting me up that are into other types of music. I think even if you have a tiny little bit of musical talent, this might be something you're interested in doing. Oh, let me go back. Samples. Don't use them. Don't use them. Don't use them samples. If you feel like that Stevie Wonder song is great, just cut it out. Don't use them. And even with loops that you can get from I think sounds.com and Splice, like, you have to really manipulate these, because what sucks the most for your process is for you to get far along in it and maybe even have your material air, and then a lawsuit happens because your ass didn't get no Curtis Mayfield song cleared, and now it's a whole issue, and you'll never work in this town again. I don't know if that's the case, but you either get your samples cleared or just don't use samples unless it's something that you make. Like, make the song that you sample, collaborate with another artist to make a whole list of songs that you can sample, and then that's another income stream. So yeah, don't use them samples. Make everything drama free. Already have your paperwork ready to go. Already have your instrumental. And that's another thing. When you're exporting, you make a clean version, make a dirty version, a acapella, an instrumental. All of these will help. And your lyrics rappers, make PDFs of your lyrics. All of this will be needed. So that's lyrics, instrumental version, acapella version, clean version, dirty version. You might even want to, put these songs out. So make an album version. This is your merchandise. This is your product. And if you want it in the right hands, you have to market it correctly. Marketing is not just putting out ads. Marketing is how it shows up in the marketplace. And you want to be able to market yourself as a professional, as somebody that they know that they can turn to whenever they're looking for whatever and have a good experience. So go ahead and set yourself up for greatness by covering all of your bases. If you have any questions, I definitely encourage questions. Hit me up on Instagram at I am Craig Smith. You can also email me iamcraigsmith@gmail.com. Both of those places you will have the most luck contacting me and I would love to answer your questions. Thank you so much. Best of luck.